Today we wanted to talk about property values.
Right, now this is interesting. Now every buyer out there wants a deal, right? Everybody wants a deal. They want the home as cheap as possible. And on the other side, when you're the home owner, the seller in many situations, you want as much money for your property because your property is amazing and you want as much as possible. Nobody's being greedy. Everybody's just looking out for their own conditions. Obviously, price is typically set in the middle. This is the basic understanding of property value. However, we're going to go into a little bit deeper in this one to really kind of understand if you're a home buyer, if you're an investor, if you're a home seller, how to make a little bit more informed decision on what your home might be worth, what the home you're looking at might be worth. So we're going to look at property values in detail. You want to add anything?
Exactly. Therefore, that's why we wanted to talk about importance of the property value comparison, which really starts with the market insight. Now, it basically, what is the market insight? It offers insight to the health direction of the real estate agent, real estate at that timing and location that we were talking
about. And honestly, that's why we do those market updates for you every single month in order to give you a little bit of market insight in what's happening in our local neighborhoods and our local values. And I hope you find a lot of enjoyment out of them.
Now, let's do our introduction.
Let's hit it. Hi, it's Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, you call text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below. Number 2, we're going to talk about, even if you're not an investor, you should still think a little bit like an investor this way. Because an investment strategy is going to look at areas of growth and areas of decline. So when you're looking at, is this property appreciating or depreciating in value, you are really kind of taking a step back, even though you love the home. Is it going to be worth more in the future, or is it going down? And you kind of have to look at it in this kind of situation in order to really see what the value is. What's another one?
Exactly. The third one we wanted to talk about pricing, which really it helps us to determine the fair market value for that property that we are looking at.
Right, and another thing to talk about is expectations. Expectations for buyers, expectations for sellers, expectations for investors. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight. I have a lot of investor clients who will tell me, oh, back in 2019, but it is 2024, or back in 2008. Again, that was after some bad actors did some bad things. That is not what the current market is. Nobody's a bad actor in this situation. So there's no real big deals like there were at that moment. Maybe they come in the future, I don't know, but I know that if we have to look at things in the present moment. This is true for home buyers too. If you keep thinking I'm going to buy it when the market falls and falls and falls, you might be waiting forever. I know my parents waited forever, and that wasn't good in their own financial interest. So you don't want to be in a situation to where you are, oh, I'll buy later, and then you're older, and then you're not in a situation to buy because you worked all hard all your life. So you don't want to be in that situation either. And when you're a home seller, having expectation of your house is $1 million when the house next door to you sold for $400,000 isn't realistic. So just because your house might be amazing and different from Bob who lived next door, and I'm making up a name. My neighbor, his name is not Bob. But Bob next door in the hypothetical, his house isn't that worse than yours. And if you were living next to Bob, that's going to pull you, and he had a horrible house, but your house is amazing. It's still going to pull your property value down. So understand your surroundings do matter. You have to have reasonable expectations.
Exactly, which brings us to really understanding the property value. Mm-hmm. And this is the factors that we wanted to talk about later is really constitute how it shaped the property value that we were talking. And what is the property value?
Again, economics teachers, buyers and sellers were going to meet. Where's price? Ultimately, buyers and sellers are willing to meet in the middle. Everybody acknowledgeably, prudently. You have actions. You're willing to pay this amount of money for this house. Sellers are willing to accept this amount of money for the house. And that is ultimately where every price is going to be. It's fair market value in real estate world. And there's no secret deals, inflating prices, nothing of that sort. People want the most amount of money for their homes. That's the truth.
And that's why we wanted to talk about the key indicators to consider for the property value. And as we know, the first thing is location. And this location also determines proximity to amenities, school, economic centers, or scenic views, no?
Right.
Which is super important for that property.
The second thing that matters when we're talking about a property value is going to be the size and condition of the home. Obviously, bigger isn't always better. It is often more expensive, but sometimes a smaller price home might get a bigger square footage because of the surrounding area as well. Higher price per square foot because it's the smallest house in the really nice area. So conditions have a really big factor on this as well. Generally speaking, though, of course, the bigger the house, the more value, the more expensive it is.
Exactly. The third things that we wanted to talk is the market trends, which really is talking about supply and demand, the first things, and then of course the interest rate, economy situation, and any fluctuation in an economy and growth. No?
Yes. So for our buyers and sellers, we always run a CMA. This is for the property that you're really interested in, and be like, well, let's see what the other property sold for in the recent area to see if your offer is acceptable in the range of what matters. And on the other side, sellers need to know what the CMA is because you need to know what the home sold for in the area because you're setting a price. So there's two separate analyses, and I would always say go with the CMA for both of these.
Exactly, which brings us to the next factor, which is historical data, because my wife talked about that for the CMA, what we do, we're looking at the past property values, which also is an indicator for the future trend of the value of that property.
Right. So if property values in that area have been going up forever, then the property values in the home have been going up forever. That's something to know. So when we look at a CMA, let's talk about the 5 steps that bring us really, really closer. Now, as real estate agents, gathering the data is super easy. We go into our MLS. Well, I can say easy. We still have to do it, and it takes some work. But we go into our MLS. We say, what is the property value? What's our surrounding? What's the square foot? What kind of property is it? A single family home, townhouse, condo, things like that. So we're really going to go into the data because we have all the data at our fingerprints. What's the second thing we do?
Exactly. The second thing is basically analyzing the trend, which basically is plot the data, graphs, and also the average property value for each location that we are looking for.
Right.
No?
We give you a basic value, and we tell you in our monthly market updates every single month how that square footage changes every single month, like price per square foot, because we're analyzing trends. So I would definitely recommend we do those market trends for a reason. So check it out. Number 3. Comparing obviously the area property. So if Bob next door, in my hypothetical, I've made Bob's not a builder in my situation. He has a bad house. But in this little bad house, Bob, he pulling your own property values down. Now, bad house Bob sells to Amazing Andy. Amazing Andy makes that house a castle. Amazing Andy, and you're next door, and your house has always been amazing. All property values are going to go up. So you really do have to pay attention to what is going on in your neighborhood. If that one house where nobody's mowing the lawn is going to affect our property values. So it is something to really pay attention to.
Exactly. And saying that, it happened to us. We were living before in Pennsylvania in the area. Next door to us, the guy had a lot of trash. And as a result, our house stayed in the market and we sold less than the price that we wanted.
So what happens all the
time? The next thing that we wanted to talk about, basically comparing with the neighborhood area that you did, no?
Right, no, you're doing new development, infrastructure, stuff like that.
Exactly. Therefore, basically we wanted to know that in that neighborhood that we were talking about, the cities or the trend, this basically property inside, what kind of development they are doing, what is the market trend there, is there any housing that is going to come in that market, because as you know, bringing even the brand new construction in the area might increase also the value of the homes that is in that area.
So, and then the step 5, we're going to look at all this data and draw conclusions on this property. Having an informed decision, if you're looking to buy, you're looking to sell, you're looking to invest in real estate, is super, super important. So I would recommend really kind of digging into what values are. And we do that all the time for our clients.
Exactly. And then don't forget to call us at 252-327-3357. We are local real estate agent in Greenville and Winterville, North Carolina, and happy to talk to you.